And I think that one of the reasons that it's so sensitive, I don't think many people understand it, and it's relatively new in the industry. So, and I don't think it'll ever replace high speed. High speed is here to stay because you'll never get the cut from carbide that you do from high speed. But when it comes to ease of use, it's very, very easy. Anybody can pick up a tool. Just about anybody. And as long as you are on center, you hold the tool level, not up, not down, level, it will cut. No question about it. One tip, this is four-sided, one tip will run about 5 hours. Okay, so you've got 20 hours in one tip. Tips today, you can buy a decent tip from Germany for like $3.50. So it doesn't cost that much. I make, on the board, yeah.
Where can you buy a tip for $3?
On the internet, I have the information here. I'll leave it for everybody. Yeah, you can sharpen them, yes. That good?
Perfect.
Okay. Get back over here so that we move right along here, okay? There's a raft of different shapes of tools. We'll pass this around so that everybody, just be careful. Some of them are really sharp. I don't want to see anybody get cut. Okay? And you'll see on there, a lot of people aren't aware of how the tools lay out, but you have a square, totally square bit. Maybe you can get this on there. See if this will pick this up. Can you see it? Okay. Is it better this way? Is that good? Down? Better down?
Yeah, either way.
All right, okay. Well, again, it's all done around a circle. You have the square, you have an R2, which is on a 2-inch circle. You have an R4, which is on a 4-inch circle. And the tools are used, okay, the roughing tool would be the square. Okay, you can either take the roughing tool and you can just plunge in, and I mean, you can put some effort behind it and it'll cut, okay? Or you can start it, go in like 1/8 of an inch, and just run it across, and the side will take it off. You done?
I'm just taking anything out of your way.
Sure, I'm on to. The R2 bit is actually the best one to use for finishing. Okay, we'll go on with that. Okay. Passing it around, there's a bunch of different shapes that'll go around. There's diamonds and everything else. All the tools are on a 60 degree. Now, if you look on the internet and you're looking at bits, they're going to call that a 30 degree bit. And I talked to the guy that manufactures them, imports them from Germany, and he's a grinder, and he said to me, that's a 30 degree bit. And he explained it to me that 30, 60 is 90 or some BS. I don't care. You put it on a tool. It's on a, what the hell they call it?
Protractor.
Protractor. Put it on a protractor. That's 60 degrees. And you'll see that the metal ones are on there. The metals are 83 degrees, most of their bits. And you can't use metal bits. You have to use the ones that are for wood. Okay? Now, something he came out with that's new, that's relatively new, are these cupped bits. Why don't you get a good picture of that? Okay. And I could pass this one around. It's cupped. It's actually not a straight bit. It's cupped. Okay. And you can take this bit, and you can, as long as it's on an angle like this, you notice it's not straight in. If you took a bit like this and put it straight in, you'd get a catch that you'd not be happy with it. Okay. You go at 30 degrees, you can take it and you can hold it like this, and you can go right in. It will remove a tremendous amount of wood in a hurry. Okay, you can take the same cup bit and you can use it like a skew. You can take it and you can shear with it.
You're talking about a circle.
Yeah, here, pass it around. You guys get a look at it. Just be careful you don't drop it.
Gary,
Yeah.
Easy Tool sells one that's called reverse rake. Is that the same as what you're talking
Well, no, reverse rake is different. That's the big buzzword today. everybody's using them for acrylics. And these guys are selling a reversed rake for $18 to $22. And they're doing great. They're doing wonderful. You can take the same, again, 60 degrees, okay? And what they're doing is they're taking 10 degrees off of the top of that bit. Ray's gonna holler at me. They take 10 degrees off of the top of the cutter.
Put it over the paper.
Okay? That way you can probably see it. Okay, so why not? My theory was this: when you're dealing with acrylics, if you take a bit and you go straight in at 90 degrees, like the rest of these are all 90 degrees, okay? It wants to catch. But if you take the same bit and you turn it just down 10 degrees, so the cumulative angle on a scraper cannot be more than 70 degrees or else it won't cut. So if you knock it down, which I decided why buy a $22 bit, same $3.50 bit. Peter's the only guy that's cheap. And it does a fantastic job. This does an absolutely awesome job on acrylic. I wish I had more time to show you how well it cuts.
You're saying that I get the square ones and I pay about $3,500.
Right.
You're saying you get all those, the round ones and everything?
No. The cupped ones are like $20. $18 to $22 for the cupped bit. Okay, the round bits I can buy German stuff. Most of the Carbide, this is interesting, most of the Carbide guys out there will say that their stuff is prioritized. They won't tell you what it is. That's because they're selling you C2 Carbide. And the next grade up that will work for wood turning is C3. And the guy that I use, Oella Carbide, great guy. You can talk to the owner of the company. Call him up. He can give you his home phone number. He's terrific. And his stuff is all C3 German.
And on that list?
I have all this information. I'm going to leave it behind. I have made some copies of it. And he's offering for the club 25% off. The only thing I say is you have to be careful. It's for the month of March. The only thing you have to be careful of is some of his stuff, it'll be marked prepaid. Some of his stuff is not. And I ordered like 8 bits from him, or tips or whatever you want to call them. And it cost me $2.99 shipping for all of them. But I mean, the prices were like $3.50 a piece. They're gorgeous. They're on that board that I'm passing around. Okay. Now I make most of my own stuff. In fact, all these tools up here I've made. Well, let's go to this one. This is a great tool for detailing.
Oh, okay.
Good? Can you see it?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, good. Parting tool. That's just from the hunk of Carbide that I had laying around.
Rotate it to the right.
To the right, that way? How's that?
Yeah.
Okay. This works great. I mean, it's awesome. You never have to sharpen it. I mean, never. Yeah, it's Carbide, yeah. This Carbide was given to me by a buddy of mine. He gave me a bunch of junk, and in the junk was an envelope containing 2 of these. And one of them I managed to ruin. But you can work with this stuff too. Another tip that I learned is, another thing I learned is, if you take these cup bits, they all tell you got to use metric. And, then you got to buy metric taps, metric dies. I have little diamond burrs. You can enlarge the hole just a fraction and use it regular, because I do almost all my stuff to 1024, so it's easy. Okay, and I do different sizes. I mean, if you want a longer tool, the reason for the handles is for the arthritis in my hands. But if you want to pass these around, you guys can take a look at them.
How'd you attach the Carbide on that parting tool?
Silver solder. I was going to braze it. But I thought, maybe I'm pushing it a little bit. So silver solder works great, and I've really hogged the heck out of it. This is the one you might want to pass this one around too. This is the one that you can really hog with that one. Okay. This is a diamond one, a diamond-shaped ray, earth to ray, diamond-shaped. Is that the right angle? Personally, I bought it and made it, but I don't find it very useful.
Yeah.
This tool, in pen making, this tool I've made maybe 150 pens with this tool, with the same bit.
Put it down so you can see it.
All right, you want it down? It's it's the same tool, same bit as this.
Are you burying these really deep? I mean, this is really heavy.
No, it's the wood. It's the wood. It's the wood. Yeah. Don't ask me what it was. What I call it is free wood. Okay. I went to a lumber yard. There was an account of mine when I worked, and I said I need some hardwood that's free, and he gave me this plank of wood, and it makes some beautiful handles. But this is another one. I like these small. I like the small bits, the small round bits. I think are tremendous. They really work well.
And how much you have to pay for them?
$350.
Really?
Yeah, I mean it's.
I just like that, you mentioned Easy Woods.
Yeah, Easy Wood is. They won't even tell you what kind of carbide's in their
They
tools.
charge you over $100, $120, and they give you a bit, but then they're gonna charge you $15 to replace that bit, and it's not the same Phillips screw that they use, it's an
Well,
Allen wrench.
they're like Sears. They're trying to make their stuff so that you have to buy their replacement parts, which I don't like that. I mean, like I said, every tool I have here has a 1024. Only because I bought 100 of 1024 screws, so I want to use them.
Have you ever tried Mike Hunter's?
Pardon me?
Mike Hunter's tools?
That one's a knockoff of a Hunter tool. That one I passed around there,
He started with the cups.
and they're $150. I'm trying to get this guy, when this is over, I'm going to take one of those cutters and send it down to him, see if he can duplicate them, because at the prices he's getting. Another thing, this is the process that I use to make the shanks. Okay, obviously I have a metal lathe because I turn the ends. But come on, Ray, holler at me. I turn these round. You don't have to do that. I mean, you can take it and slot it. Take a piece of wood, cut it in half, route it out, and put it in the same way. Okay, but I start out this way. First thing I do is drill a hole. Don't tap it. Drill a hole. Then after I drill a hole, I take. This is a funny story. I sold tools and hardware my whole life, and Milwaukee was given, you could take any tool you wanted, and it's the only tool I didn't have. I thought it was a useless tool, but I figured I'll take it. I don't use a hacksaw anymore. It's a great little tool. But what I do is I'll cut those shanks with this tool, primarily because it has a light. Okay? I figured out why I liked it eventually, because this is only a short stroke. The other two saws I have are a longer stroke. But with a little patience, marking it out, okay, I make the down cut, and then I make the cross cut. I didn't cross cut this one, and I'll press these two around at once because I want you to see the difference in the finish of these two tools. This scale is very, very hard to remove. I mean, you can spend hours trying to get it off of there, okay? And I discovered that the easy way to remove it is when you're done, when you've got it filed, done, and everything else ready to go, tapped and everything else, take it and stick it in white vinegar overnight. Next morning you come out, hit it with a buffing with a wire wheel, and it's clean. That's the comparison of the two finishes that you get. Yeah.
Is that just bar stock or?
That's 1018 steel. It's the same stuff they use. I mean, you could buy a 6-foot piece of that steel for maybe $4 or $5.
Was it half-inch square you're using?
That's half-inch stuff. Yeah. The one I was passing around was 3/4. Go ahead.
The half-inch stock is just the same as the taper on the carbide bit.
I'm sorry. You're using a 16 millimeter or 5/8 square carbide bit. Works great for the half-inch stock.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, works tremendous. Yeah.
You don't refer it, except for the round ones, the square ones are perfect.
The round ones are a bugger to make.
Yeah, but-
You don't have to get. There's no need to make the curve. That's just window dressing. They work just fine if they're straight. So if you cut it back a little further, you could use the same one.
Or you drill your hole a little closer to the end.
Right, but the biggest thing with them is you have to make sure that you've got the carbide pretty well covered. Like in this one, you can see that the carbide. I made this one twice, and you've got to support the carbide.
Set it on the paint.
Take a look. Pardon?
Set it on the paint, show us.
Yeah, I'll put it.
Let Ray get a close-up.
All right, go ahead.
Show us the cutting edge. Now, that diner shape, you did have to grind it flat.
I had to grind this flat. In fact, the reason I goofed the one up was I make most of my stuff. You see the tools I use. I use a drill, I use a drill press, I use this, okay, and I use a stationary belt sander. Is all I use. That's how I make the tools. That's it. Outside the metal lathe, I make the shakes round. But there's no reason you can't glue up a handle and do it that way.
Put that on the,
This one, this one?
the diamond one.
Okay, go ahead.
Turn it to you. There you go. Perfect.
Is that good? Okay. The problem with this one was the first attempt at it, I was lazy, and I didn't tilt the table. I didn't want to go back and square the table, so I tried doing it freehand. Forget it. You know, you got to tilt the table to get it right. But this was probably the hardest one that I made, but it's still not a big deal. I mean, it really isn't. We'll go into a couple other things. If I had time, I was going to turn a handle, but unfortunately, I think we're out of time. I don't want you guys to stay that late. But no, it's up to you guys. You have a choice. I'll give you a choice. I can turn a pen blank made out of acrylic on centers, which is something unusual, or I can turn a handle. Handle, okay, handle. This is getting away from carbide now, using. All right, Ray. Now that I'm right, now you're not with me. These are made out of drill bits, out of broken shank drill bits. Okay, this one I made with a. I'll pass this around if everybody wants to see it. This one I made with a. Started out with a Dremel tool, which probably everybody in here has one. Cut a slot down the center of it, and then I discovered something very interesting. It's a Mizzy wheel. Okay, I have never seen or heard of a Mizzy wheel. A buddy of mine gave me a bunch of stuff that was a jeweler's, and a Mizzy, M-I-Z-Z-Y, Mizzy. I have information on it too. So, pardon? Yeah, go ahead. Pardon? It's Mizzy, M-I-Z-Z-Y, Mizzy wheel. Okay, and they say on there runs cool. It's absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable wheel. I mean, it is really something. That wheel started out at 1 inch, and I did this with it.
Is that ceramic?
No, I think it's got some sort of proprietary, like rubber almost, that the stuff is embedded in. And this you've seen. This you want. I'll tell you what. I'm going to do. Here, Bruce. Put your specs on. Okay. A lot of the tools, what I'll do with a lot of the tools when I go to make them is I go on Amazon. I like the challenge of making something. And a lot of the tools that I make, what I'll do is I'll go on the internet and I'll find the tool, picture of it, and do a drawing. Get an idea on this one. On this one is very, very critical that this edge is aligned with that edge, or else it'll twist right out of your hands. This is the one you were talking about, the Hunter tool. And the one tool I passed around is a knockoff of a Hunter tool. In fact, when they first came out with this tool, Hunter would not tell you. They wouldn't give you the specs, the angle that was on. So now they'll tell you it's 30 degrees. There's one more in here somewhere. And this is the other one that I showed you, the shear scraper. Is that good? So it's simple. I mean, if I see something, I can copy it. And this is, I printed up some copies of some of this stuff. If you want to see this, this shows you the different carbides of C2, C3. I don't want to get into the metals, but if you look at this thing, the biggest thing that I saw was minimum traverse rupture strength, which I mean, I guess I take that as when it's going to break. And the stuff that you're seeing on the market is 32,000 pounds. And the stuff that this guy's selling is 37,000. Would you ever see a difference? No, I don't think so. Somebody asked about sharpening the tools. Takes a very, very expensive jig to sharpen them. Okay? One of these, $15, WD-40, You take the tip and lay it flat, and you just go around it like this. And about a minute and a half later, your tool is sharp. Hard to believe, but it does an absolutely fabulous job. Okay, we'll get into making a handle. I'll try not to hold you guys over too long.
What grid is that?
I'm glad you brought that up. You can't sharpen carbide. You can sharpen it more than finer than 600 grit. But if you do, you're not going to be happy with it. It'll take it right back to 600 grit. That's about as sharp as you can make it.
600?
600, yeah, it's about as sharp as you can make it. If you go any sharper than that, you can't do it. This is another tool that I make. These guys, I got tired of paying big bucks for them, so. These are. I had some up here. I think I have one more left. I have one like this for a 12-inch lathe.
You can't sharpen the cup tool already.
I made an arbor for that to sharpen it. I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put that in my lathe and see if I can sharpen the cup tool, because I just can't see spending that kind of money for a tool. You know, that's just thievery. You know, if it was $10, I'd say yeah, okay, it's worth it. All right, let's go on with the. Here, let me take this one out. That's his. Okay. This is my way of doing it. There's probably a lot of better ways to do this, and everybody will have their own way of doing it, but this is what I developed to make a handle. I like to do things safely. So first thing I do is find center, half-inch drill bit. High-speed bits work the best to me. I drill a hole 3/8 of an inch deep. I also have this all written down if somebody wants to take it with them. Notice another Milwaukee tool, but I bought this one. That's something else that a lot of people aren't aware of. You guys know what the difference is between in electric drills and stuff, these brushless motors? If you're going to buy a tool, spend the extra bucks and buy a brushless motor. Buy one with a brushless motor. It's unbelievable the difference in the tool. Well, you can buy it, I don't care where you buy it. No matter to me. Oh, this is not going to be fun. What'd you do with that adapter, Pete? Pete, what'd you do with the adapter?
Single adapter.
I didn't bring mine. It's not there. It's too big to be there. I know you had it. I would have brought my other. Good, thanks, bud. I would have brought my other chuck. Incidentally, I'm going to do these with carbide, not high-speed tools. Now, okay. If you do 3/8 deep, when you center it, you're catching the outside plus the point. I also marked it ahead of time with a Sharpie so that I know where I can put it back in the same position. While I'm walking over here, let me give you a little tip on this stuff. Anybody have trouble with all the dust accumulating on these when you're sanding? Oh, yeah. Easy way to eliminate it. Oh, it's here somewhere. It's an aerosol can. Here. It's a cleaner for acrylic. Breaks the static barrier.
What is it?
It's a cleaner for acrylic. And it breaks the static barrier, so you're not all fogged up by the time you get done.
Where'd you get that?
Internet. Now, mind you, this tool has been used, I don't know, I probably cut, I'm going to say, over 100 pens with it. A lot of acrylics and stuff before I learned how to make that acrylic tool.
Is that just a square cutter?
This is a square cutter.
What speed?
Speed?
Speed do you have it at?
Oh, whatever I feel comfortable with.
Okay.
You can see it's not an exact science with me.
No, I didn't know.
I'm afraid of this tool rest because this is not the right tool rest for this lathe. I'm afraid I'm going to I'm close enough to center. I'll be here. That's I think 1600. Oh, I lied. 1821. To be exact. So there's two ways to go. One is in plunging. Okay. Or you can do it the other way.
Further up, it won't sound like a machine gun when you get to, you hit that
Oh,
microphone
okay.
right against this thing, so
Okay.
it'll go almost anywhere. Do you even put it here?
Clip it on my ear.
Look, right there. Now you
Okay,
can
good.
stop.
Better? Okay. Or you can go in like this. That's walnut. But it's very safe. I mean, it's pretty hard to get a catch. You got to really goof up to get a catch.
So it's a big difference. You keep the tool level with the contact.
Level. Yes. Must be level.
Level, it says the envelope there.
Did I say that level?
Does that mean it's straight?
Yes, straight. Well, I don't know how they, like I said, the guy that was telling me how to figure out what these cutters are. I just couldn't believe it.
And it's on the center of the workpiece.
Yes. Mm-hmm. What I do when I make them, I always like to put a slight taper towards the headstock. I'm sorry, towards the tailstock. So that when I glue them, it holds it in. Too far on that one. Yeah, everybody own one of these? Great, aren't they?
That's $8 I ever spent.
Yeah. I think I spent 10 for this thing, and it was like 3 years ago.
That's just a piece of copper pipe, I assume?
Yeah, I don't use copper. I usually use brass. But in this case, I had some copper lying around. I figured I'd make one out of copper.
I've used plastic.
Yeah, you can use just about anything. A lot of guys use the compression fittings. Yeah, a lot of guys use different stuff. Now comes the part that I always forget. Always forget to drill it. I mean, you don't get a ready to sand finish. You've always got to go up. You got to go up one grit in sandpaper for carbide, even no matter how you run it over there, because they're not as quite as sharp. And I'm not going to finish this. I'll cut it down. I'll rough cut it, and you don't need to watch me finish it. Here. Hey, we're getting good at these things. Made enough of them. I always come back to this tool. I don't know, I like this little tool. least I'm consecutive. I told you I forgot to drill a hole, right? Sometimes when you get old, you get retarded. And I think that's enough shaping. I'll just finish off with the hole. You guys got the idea of how to do it, how I do it anyway. Now what I do is I'll take, when I'm going to finish this, I'll cut this off flush in the lathe still. Same here, and then finish the end of it. But what I find is I'll take and wrap masking tape around it, stand it upright. And there is a taper on this, and it'll hold, you'll never have the ferrule come loose. Like guys, they put dimples in them and pins in them and everything, you don't need to. Another trick with this is I'll show you my favorite tool. Let me drill this hole and I'll show you that. This is why I like to start the hole, because you've got a center on here. Already, you can't get out of the way of the drill bit. And I don't know where this lathe goes. Sound driving me crazy. I lost my index mark on the chuck.
How deep do you normally drill it?
I usually go 2.5, 3 inches, depending on the tool.
So this is the same procedure if you're going to use a square?
I'm sorry.
Instead of doing the round,
You could take and split the blank.
you'd split
So you've
the-
got a piece of,
split
you want to accomplish a 2-inch. So you take two 1-inch pieces, route a groove down the middle.
Okay.
1/2-inch groove or a 1/4-inch groove down either side, glue it back together.
Okay.
So you don't have to, you don't have to use that. I have a metal lathe, yeah. Must be right over the speakers. That's basically how I do it. I'll use a draw cut saw to cut the ends off. Now, if you want, I can show you. I mean, this is pretty rough. I mean, I can go over this with another chisel. Let me do this just to show you. I'll do a little part of it.
You
Okay.
use epoxy to hold the...
I use 5-minute epoxy. I'll show you another trick that I learned with this thing too. That'll save you a lot of trouble making these things. Boy, it's got a long quill. Man, my old lady had to cinch it up twice to do it. Okay. So you can go back at any time and still turn it. If you take these and you put them on a little bit of an angle, they'll shear more. That's an R2.
What would you start sanding on that with this one?
I'm going to pass this around so you guys get a feel for it, okay? You'll see the tail end of it, I did a shear cut on it. Now, when you go to epoxy the handle on, that's when you get in trouble. Because the handle, there it is, the blade wants to come out. Always come out. And a lot of guys say, well, you find a hole, drill a small hole in it and all that. I don't know. I like doing things easy. And with that little Dremel, where are you? Staying there? Is that good? With the Dremel, I took a Sawzall blade. I couldn't buy the Sawzall blade that I wanted. So I cut a Sawzall blade with that little Dremel cutoff tool. Okay? And all you have to do is stick this in there. It's done. The tool will not come out. It releases the air, stops the hydraulic action.
What did you do with that?
I stuck this inside, turn it on, and cut a very small groove.
You created a reservoir at the bottom.
Lets all the air out. Here's the tool. Now, that's a finished cut. You can pass it around so you can get an idea. The back part of it is done with a shearing action.
It's the same thing that happens with dowels.
Yeah, with a dowel, it comes back out. That's why they use the glue dowels, have all the slots in them. That's it, simple.
This is the exact size of your...
It should, well, here. Thanks, Ray. Oh, you got another shock. Now we'll get to the commercial.
Tell them how you clean it with the vinegar.
Oh yeah. If I passed around some blanks here, these two blanks, one was shiny and the other one wasn't. Okay, when you're done, I think I said that, didn't I? Yeah, with the vinegar, yeah, it makes all the difference in the world. Commercial, I have two of these left. I don't know what that one is. Is that for round or square?
This one is,
Round?
yeah,
Yeah, that's round and square. I have one of each left.
there's nothing on it, so.
Yeah, well, you can tell by the, let me see. That's the round. I have a round and a square left. My lathe, I sold my lathe and didn't have a lathe for a month, so I was having cabin fever, so I made some extra tools. And this didn't fit my lathe, so anybody wants a round bar, $25, and these are $25 or $30 depending on the squared round. But I have one of each left, that's it. Thanks for your time.
What you were going to tell us the source for those...
Yeah, I'll give it now. Give it all out now.